and Councillor Mike and Councillor Rebecca. So Rebecca who coordinated this visit. So yeah.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Anita.
That's nice. How long are you staying?
November 2nd, I'm planning.
Okay, lovely. And so, tell us about where you're from.
From Nepal?
Which part of Nepal?
Eastern part.
Eastern part, yeah.
Province 1.
Okay.
Dharan sub-metropolitan city we call, from where I represent. And yeah,
So
he's the man and he's the man too.
So I'm from the sub-metropolitan Dharan as well.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, and here as well, the original.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
I think it's a big. I think the population is as big as this Folkestone Hythe District.
Oh, so it's really big.
Yeah, it is. It is a sub-metropolitan city. Probably around 100,000 population.
Yeah.
Around 100,000 plus 100,000.
Plus.
So yeah.
About 200,000.
Very important.
Yes, he's like the executive post, like Mayor of London. So,
Right, okay.
so he's the civic head as well as the executive as well as the everything. So
Everything.
for 5 years, yeah.
Elected is the target?
Yeah, every 5 years elected. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and our mayor is from the Independent. So
We don't belong to any political
party. So he won independently. That way, he's very popular, very famous.
Oh, that's
very
great news.
determined.
Thank you.
Is this the first time you've been there?
Yeah.
Yes.
First time.
And how long have you been there now?
2.5 years.
Oh, okay.
Halfway.
Halfway.
Yeah, I mean, Dharan is a very important for the British colony originally. I think, and when there was 1953, they had a big camp, British camp, and many of them recruited from there. All of them recruited from Dharan.
Yes.
He's from there. My father. So it holds very deep connection with that city. Yeah. And a very important man for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the connection and for the development so that the one reason that's why he's visiting here in the UK to bring that, to revive that connection.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
So, and thank you for making this visit.
And you've been to the lovely community centre?
Not yet.
Not yet?
It's so busy. So it's on Thursday.
Ah.
So he hasn't been to our community center. Been very busy.
So what you've had a big program, I think.
Yes, yeah. So after this, he's going to visit the hospital William Harvey, and after that, he's going to Grace. So there's a huge out of the community related to the arm. So he is quite packed. and I should appreciate Chair for making adjusting us.
No, that's really important. I mean, obviously your community is so important to us. You've given so much to our country. It's amazing. So definitely need to meet you and find out more about your country and where you're from. So no, it's lovely.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
So would you like to take a picture before we?
Yes.
See
We have-
and run around.
Yes,
so you're around. So our mayor is also, he wants to understand, how the districts function,
Yes.
how you make decision, so that he can. And see around the chambers.
Yeah, we can show you around. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to come on pictures? Okay, yeah. What are okay? I'll be there. Okay.
You need to come over.
Yeah. Sit.
Do you mind if I just take one more? Okay. That's it, big raise. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so did you want to lead the tour?
Yeah, should we have
Organised.
look at the
Yeah.
Come and show you the video.
Yes, please. We will follow you. Yeah.
So So this is obviously where we have all of our council meetings. The chairs room. This is where all the important decisions happen. It's a nice space actually. And we have 30 elected councillors. From actually, how many wards are there? That's a good question. I should have thought about that.
I've got 14 in my mind, but is it that many?
Yeah, like that. And obviously we stretch all the way down as far as Dungeness, which is quite a long distance down there. It's probably about an hour's drive from here.
District, isn't it, on the coast?
And then we don't go halfway towards Canterbury, so a place called Stellingminnis is probably our most northern point. And then we go as far as the cliffs, the White Cliffs, don't we, in Capel. So that's kind of how big our district is. Obviously, Folkestone has the largest population and Hythe is the second largest. But we've got a lot of other towns. So we've got a number of town mayors. So we've got the Cinque Port mayors. So we have a Hythe mayor, New Romney mayor, a Folkestone mayor.
Yes.
So they're obviously they have a lower level of local government, so they're in charge of the towns themselves, and we oversee the whole district. We have a mayor in Lydd as well. I mustn't forget the mayor of Lydd. And we have a number of smaller parish councils as well for the villages and the smaller kind of parts of our districts. We have Lymm, Postling. There's a lot up in the North Downs, aren't there? So Stellingminnis and Lyminge and Elam.
So you have the town mayor and the parish council.
Yeah, the parish councils are for the villages generally.
Villages,
so they're much smaller councils, but they obviously look after what happens in their immediate area.
How many town does districts cover? Probably
so
5, 6.
We've got Hawkinge, Folkestone, Hythe, New Romney, Lydd. 5, is that right? Have I missed anybody? I think they're our main towns, and then we've got a lot of smaller parish councils.
Parish council means that the village.
They're villages, and they have elected members as well. So and make decisions for their parishes.
They're responsible for things like housing and homelessness, and parks, open spaces.
Waste.
Yes, collecting waste and recycling.
Planning,
a lot of things on licensing,
enforcement, things like parking and enforcement, litter,
parking, litter. So the parking. So how does the parking works? So my mayor is interested in how you collect the parking charges by the district. So
well, your work obviously is
parking committee. So they are in the
So we have on-street parking and we have car parks, and it's fortunately an important source of revenue for local councils like this one. So we charge for parking, which is always a bit of a bone of contention with residents because they see the parking charges increasing, although actually they're much higher elsewhere. Try parking in Lincoln.
It's expensive,
really expensive, and the hours getting extended all the time. And then on street parking in most places it's restricted, so you can only park there for a certain amount of time, and often you have to pay to park on the street as well. The problem we have is there are too many cars, not enough spaces for them. That's largely the problem, and people nowadays, a lot of households have 2-3 cars, and they don't have the space to park 2 or 3 cars. So then we have what we call controlled parking zones, where you have to get a permit to park outside your house, and if you have visitors, they have to have a permit as well. So that sort of helps a bit, but it doesn't guarantee
that's how does the council fix the prices for those parking?
For controlled parking, I think we have to. I think it's set by legislation. I don't think we can change that.
Some of it's set by legislation, and some of it you get a choice.
Okay. So when legislation means that's from the Westminster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of it you can't make a profit on.
No, and it has to be
by
spent on certain things related to transport. So the money can't be spent on anything. It has to be spent on improving the roads or providing more parking facilities.
And obviously, you have to employ people to go around and enforce.
Yes, a lot of enforcement. Yeah. So whenever I get, last time I did receive the enforcement from Folkestone Hythe. £35 I paid. If I paid early, £35. Went to your website and paid.
Well, the amount we can fine you is set by a government, set by Westminster government. And that hasn't increased in years, so that's will be about £40.
Yeah.
And in some places, it'll cost you almost that much to park for a day. So you are getting to the point now where people think, I might as well risk getting a ticket because it's not going to cost me much more.
Yeah, so I'll tell you one experience. When I see the council parking fine that I pay, last time I ignored. And
then you pay double.
Yeah, I mean, what happened is that because it was a council, the code acts quickly. And the bailiff was outside my house trying to take away. It was a long time ago. So
it can get quite serious if you don't pay it.
And the another thing the mayor wanted to know was about the waste management. At the council, all the waste facilities you have, like how do you fund and how does it works
Well, we have a number of bins. So each household will have a food waste bin, a recycling bin, a paper kind of box, and then general waste. So
and then they can pay to have a garden waste bin.
And it's basically the household pays.
Only for garden waste. And everything else they pay for. So I don't know how people pay in Nepal for local government. They pay here through council tax, and the amount you pay is linked to the size of your home. But we only get. The council tax also pays for the county council, which is the biggest part of it by far. It's about 2/3 of it, I think. And then some of it goes to police and fire, and some of it goes to those parish and town councils. So the average is just under £400 that people pay that actually comes to the district.
All right.
And then. So I forgot where I was going with that now.
Some of that goes towards paying for the waste.
So most of the services are paid for through the council tax, and then if you want to have your garden waste collected, you pay an extra £60 a year.
It's the household waste and the recycling is we have to provide that service.
Okay.
The food waste at the moment we don't have to collect that separately, but we choose to. Although I think the government is looking to have councils collect that.
So all these are actually legislated in the Westminster.
Yeah, so a lot of these services we have to provide.
We have to provide. It's
by law.
So by law,
the waste management part the government does, or you give kind of.
So we collect it, and then the county council disposes of it. So in Kent, it's incinerated, which is becoming more controversial, I think. So they make energy out of burning the waste, but obviously that creates a lot of pollution because it used to go into landfill, and then obviously the amount of waste that's being produced was creating.
So is that management done by the government or the private companies you hire to do so?
Private companies.
It's a mixture. Some councils have their own waste, staff and their own trucks that collect the waste, but a lot. Now, including us, we have a private company that we have a contract with.
And we have a contract jointly with Dover Council. So, which is again is something probably happen more is that councils join up together and share some of these contracts between them.
And there's also obviously the litter bins on the street that the same company picks up that rubbish for us as well.
And then we hopefully recycle as much of it as possible, but that can be challenging if the wrong things are put in the wrong bins. So that's an ongoing battle, isn't it?
So there's a campaign at the moment. You might have had a leaflet through your door and some free food caddy bags to try and increase the rate of recycling. So it's sort of been stuck just below 50%, and we're trying to get it above 50% of all the waste recycled.
And then if you're not putting food waste in your general waste, it will smell a bit better in your bin. So it obviously keeps everything cleaner, which is one of the upsides, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So the food waste gets collected every week, but the sort of the other rubbish gets collected every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, yeah.
So if you have your food, it's gonna.
So our community basically using the compost the food waste. So many of them
Yeah, I
do
mean, that's
compost.
the
Yeah.
best way is to
Yeah.
use it as much as you can.
no, that is
Yeah.
better, but not everybody has that facility.
No, and it's also quite a skill, I think.
Yeah. But you need a garden
Yeah,
for that,
you need
or
the right
that's
place and
So if you're living in a flat, then
Yeah, flats are really difficult. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. Oh, okay. So
Can I ask, what's the parking situation in your district? Where is it a?
Oh, we are trying, struggling.
Yeah.
So
Is
so-
it similar
so-
challenges or what
so many,
issues
so
are you
many,
having?
So I think our mayor is trying to introduce the parking charges. Is it because it's a sub-metropolitan city where there's a lot of opposition?
Yeah.
Because he's trying. Yeah, I think our mayor is trying to generate the revenue for the sub-metropolitan city, and without revenue you can't provide services. Like you said, through parking, with parking you generate money, and then again you spend that money, for the roads, maintaining the road or maintaining the park. Yeah, that's what you do. But it's difficult for our mayor to in our town to to educate that. Like
different political.
like you have a legislation, and my chair cannot, our mayor cannot find that legislation.
So there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, so he's trying to understand and trying to find a way, to better up the
I mean, it's
metropolitan
just
city.
I think councils here have had similar political issues because you don't have to charge for parking, so it's a political decision, and it's a necessity now. For
Necessity,
the revenue, but it's really. I think all councils face opposition when the charges
Goes
start,
up.
and then when the charge,
People
you
get
put the
used to
charges
it.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But then
And
it
people
becomes
don't like
normal.
enforcement, but if you didn't have enforcement, then people would park for as long as. And
Yeah.
businesses complain about parking charges, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of evidence that says that you have more you have more customers come and go. If they can park for a limited time, they come for an hour or 2 hours and move, or someone else takes the space, rather than the people parking there all day.
And if you introduce charges, it also discourages people using their car all the time, so they might think about public
Walking,
transport, or they might
public
walk, or they might cycle. So I think that's the other sort of positive offshoot as well, if they worried about the charges.
So when you just talk about the public transport, how does the Folkestone Hythe District's public transport works? Are they controlled by the county?
Yeah, it's a private company called Stagecoach,
Stagecoach,
really,
but
for the
it's-
buses.
And Southeastern for the trains.
So we have limited control, I think you would say. County Council has some say in the school buses, but not a lot,
it's limited
actually.
as well.
There's some subsidised services sort of out to the villages, but because it's a business that's running it, they often make decisions which aren't useful to people living out in the villages, and they make cuts. So it's a bit frustrating, although the government has just changed, I think, their thinking on this, and they are going to allow local authorities to potentially run their own bus services again. So that would be something really exciting to look at, but it's a lot to take on as a local authority, I think.
So the important that the district council is to collect the council tax.
Yeah, so
And DWP, the benefits.
And then we can provide all the services to the people.
So our mayor is also responsible for collecting the taxes, council, the housing first taxes. But I don't know how hard he is finding to collect all the households and then providing the service. So
It's a big job, isn't it?
yeah.
And do you have a lot of officers work for you, or in your council?
Enough office.
Enough
What about
office.
planning? Is that
Planning.
Yeah, we do. We have three types of government, 3 layers: central, provincial, and local. We don't have district like you do. So I represent the local government, and there we don't see the highways and the foreign affairs. The rest we'll have to see.
So it's a big.
The rest
it's a big.
So
so planning is local?
yeah,
Planning.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. I think could you talk about a little bit about the planning here? Like, I mean,
Should we get a drink? And then
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
sit
we
down
can.
and talk maybe.
Yeah.
That would be
Oh,
nice.
sorry,
We need to offer you some refreshment.
yeah, that's probably
Yes, I'm very lucky to have a nice room there.
yeah.
Let's,
We can go in.
what would you like to drink? We have tea or coffee? Black coffee?
Black coffee.
Oh, lovely. And then we'll talk about planning.
Because there's something I also wanted to understand. Because they control housing planning in our controllers. Okay, I think who is the cabinet in the cabinet of housing planning?
We all sit on planning, actually, don't we? The planning's a really tough one, actually, because the rules are set by central government. And the more you sit on a planning committee, the more you realise how little say we have, because it's in favour of planning. So they want people to have houses, and they set us targets. And our current target for this district is 830 houses, I think, a year, which is a lot of houses to provide in our district. But we have to find appropriate land, and we have to set out a local plan where we would like to, we would recommend people can build, but then we are obviously reliant on developers wanting to build houses in our district. And then there are important things about whether they have enough affordable housing for people, and there's lots of different rules, aren't there? So, but it's tricky, and then if we're unhappy with a development, but the government thinks that it should still happen, they can overrule us, which is quite hard, isn't it? So it's quite. I don't know how planning is in your district.
We have challenged the same, the highways, the central government. We have two kinds of highways. One is provincial, which goes across the local, our municipalities, districts, across the district, and the other one goes across the provinces, and that is managed by the central government. And let's say the size of the highways, the measurements, those things, they are controlled, managed by the provincial and central government. So we have the same kind of challenges and issues, let's say.
I think when you talk about the housing planning, I think in Nepal still the housing, the houses are built in what you call individual capacity. So not like we don't have a we do have a permission. Okay. They have to have a permission with they have to apply the application, I think, to the mayor office. To the mayor office, and they will see the criteria. But I don't know how those criteria are overseen. So I might have to ask our mayor, But it is done in an individual capacity. It's not like a huge development by the government, or government gives contract someone to build a housing area. Still, I think that is not only in Kathmandu. Probably huge businesses might have done, but in a private sector. But our mayor are facing challenges about the size of the road, the people encroach the land. So those are the challenges he finds. He encroach the government land, and so he has a lot of challenges.
That's occasionally get similar, don't we? Extend their boundaries.
And the boundary issues always.
So, Mayor Saab, who sets the housing criteria in Nepal? The government, who controls that? Municipality?
The municipality, we do.
So he has a lot of power. What type of house they can build? But I think he alone cannot. I don't know how, now. I think he's thinking when he came here in the UK. Now he's thinking about the planning. Over here is the town or housing are much more planned than in our places. So I think our mayor is getting some idea. Okay, this is how the town or certain area the resident area should look like, and
Yes,
probably
that's part of our local plan where we decide where it would be sensible to have housing built rather than things just popping up all over the place. And we've got a big development we're going to work on, they've been working on for years, Otterpool.
yeah.
So planning the whole town so that it should work, you know, better, and it should have the right infrastructure in place, and it should have the right schools and shops and everything that people need, and that the roads work in the right way. It's quite complicated actually, but that's better, I think, than infilling in towns actually, where infrastructure is often really stretched. So it is a positive. It's a hard one. We're not quite there yet, though, are we? But that's going to be 30,000 houses, I think.
8,500.
30 years.
30 years, that's the one.
8,500.
Yeah.
That's the one. Just trying to remember which way. Maybe it was 2,
Yeah. But I mean, people obviously, we still get applications from individuals as well.
Individuals wants to build houses.
Either they bought a little
or extend
plot of
a house.
land, or want to do something on their existing house. So that still needs sort of permission and
Permission from this. Does that application comes to the community or your civic officers?
The officers will do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, we do very little really finds its way to us.
What kind of things finds to your place?
So it could be something
It all
that
goes through the town first.
Yeah.
So every application goes through the parish and the town councils.
Okay.
So I also have sat on the planning committee in Hythe, and you get a lot of applications, even for small extensions, I don't know, new windows, you name it, tree reductions, and then they kind of highlight anything which is going to be of a concern, and then the officers will, if it is a concern, they'll bring it to the district
if they
planning
object,
committee.
then it comes to the committee.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so at first it's to the town.
So yeah, it's the responsibility of the towns and parishes to say they've got an issue with it, and then if they have, or if they're okay with it, if they're okay with it, then it will often go straight through.
Yeah.
But if there is a problem, then it comes to the district planning
or
committee.
if councillors here can say, "Oh, I'm not, my community is not happy about this one. We want to discuss it at the."
Yeah. So, like when you say, like when even cutting the trees, changing the windows, extend some of their house, you have to apply.
In some cases.
In Hythe, particularly because it's a conservation area, there's a lot of tree protection orders.
So who does that? The protection order? Is it from the central government, or has the district?
Local council.
Yeah.
So it would be like.
So I think our mayor has done. I think he is the one introduced, no-go area. He has planted a lot of trees.
Oh, that's
planted. I mean, huge number of trees. I think. How many? More than. For the last 2 years, you've been planting the trees around the run.
That's good. So I mean, I like the thing that in Hythe they're all protected, and when there's other issues in Hythe where, because it's a particular conservation area, that there's buildings which are protected, you're not allowed to do certain things without permission.
Mayor Sahib, can you do that in your place as well to make that area is protected by the runs of metropolitan in your area?
we can.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. And then I've seen people move in from out of area and think they can just take down trees and not replace them, but we normally encourage, if there has to be a tree removal, for it to be replaced. But you don't tend to see that in the district planning. You see that a lot in the town planning, and then we've got a tree specialist who goes and has a look to check what they're doing.
When developments come to us, they have to demonstrate a biodiversity net gain. So they have to show they're actually going to improve things rather than make them worse. And if they can't do it on their own site, then they have to do it elsewhere to make up for it, to mitigate it. So that's very good, because obviously nature is...
So lots of... The district council have a lot of say on the big development with it. Like, does the district control this park?
Yes,
So we haven't had our chance to take our mayor to this. So this is a park just down in the cliff, Mayor Sahib, but we haven't had chance. So this is controlled by the district. Lots of parks are controlled by the district. Mayor,
Those-
They control a lot
Yeah.
of toilets as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm very thankful when I go around here. And when I see Folkestone Hythe District Council's toilets, they're really clean and nice.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
every council provides.
Yeah,
place.
I think
It is
Yeah.
really important. I think.
they all are ex-army. The second career is they ride a taxi. So what about the taxi plate? I wanted to ask about the taxi plate. Do you control the taxi plate?
Oh, that's another thing we do. Yeah, licensed taxis.
Licensed taxis.
Yeah. That's I mean that's again it's
Brian is
sort of
just
led-
left the from the driving license. Isn't it? Who is replacing her?
Bryony. John Bickle has been promoted. You actually saw him just a minute ago, actually, strangely. So he now is kind of being promoted, and then I think they've got one or possibly two new members of staff as well in that team.
Right.
See, one of the interesting things we do as members of the planning committee is we occasionally have a licensing subcommittee, and we have to consider whether or not a taxi driver should keep their licence if they've broken the law or something like that. So it's quite interesting.
And we also for pubs and bars and nightclubs or entertainment venues, that's also controlled by the council, and we get to look at that. So it's about how long they can open for, and is it okay to have it in that place? So that's all sort of controlled as well.
T&D. Now I just remember. Yeah, apply that. What you call temporary event license.
Yeah.
Apply for it.
Would anybody like a slice of cake or something?
Can't I get cake? It's been going.
Oh, we thought we should provide something. So
Yeah,
it's nice to have you here.
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
So auto rickshaw. Province. Oh, it's by the province, by the county.
Oh, okay.
You can say the province with like
County, you call it county.
Okay, yeah. It's interesting when you sit on a course about licensing and you realise the safeguarding element of it, and really important to look after people, isn't it, who are going to use those services.
We didn't grab them.
Yeah, it is. So it's the executive post.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
And do you have, we have at the moment, we've got what we call a cabinet system, where we have a leader and a cabinet who make a lot of the decisions.
So we have, we have the same team, same body.
Okay.
Yeah, to work for three aspects.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So he is the leader as well as the chair.
Oh, okay, so you do both jobs. So our leader is unfortunately away this week. He's in the local government association conference up in Harrogate. So he's gone up with the other political leaders from our council. So he makes a lot of he does a lot of the hard work, Jim, doesn't he?
He does. And then Rebecca and I are both in the cabinet. So I have community and collaboration as my portfolio, which includes working with people like
a community, yes.
Yeah. So Rebecca has housing and homelessness.
So the business rate with the charity organizers are decided by So I haven't had chance to take our mail to the community center. So in our community center, it's a business venue. So there's a business rate, almost 7,000 pound per year. But the council, they have decided, it's for a charity. They are doing good work. So they, what do you call it?
And it's from Kent County Council, isn't it?
Oh, so they extended it now.
Kind of. We still got 2 more years, so we're discussing.
The next year is 25 years, is that right? For the community centre.
For next year.
What's the anniversary? Isn't it anniversary?
No, this is as a whole, 25. Yeah.
25 years, yeah. Big celebration.
That's really big, isn't it? Yeah.
So Rebecca and I are district councillors for Cheriton, where
Yeah.
been
So,
centre is.
yeah. So, and everything.
Just at the moment, redoing our
So
corporate
everyone
plan.
that lives there,
This is from the
there's a
previous one.
management company.
So the corporate plan is really important. Because, if it's not in the corporate plan, then it's unlikely that it will happen, because with limited resources, the council has to only do the things which are strategic, which it's planned to do. So the corporate plan kind of sets that strategic framework, and then you have an operational plan, which we look at how we're performing against that every quarter. So the cabinet at the moment sees that every quarter and how we're doing.
I mean, it's supposed to be.
But the new corporate plan we're working on is framed around the United Nations Sustainability Goals, which is really interesting, and looking at how you apply those global principles around keeping people healthy, keeping a roof over their heads, having access to education, things like that. How do you frame that locally? Which has been a really, really interesting exercise.
So this is the Folkestone Hythe District Council's like kind of your corporate plan.
Yeah, so that's the corporate plan 2021-2030, but we're actually going to replace it with one which will come into play next year, and then that will run until 2030. So we're kind of updating it. It's the kind of things it talks about there aren't so different, but we're framing it in a different way. With a real sustainability focus, and we're quite pleased about it because we're all Green Party councillors, the three of us here, and we're the biggest party in the council. So although we've worked with all councillors on the corporate plan, we're obviously very keen on having sustainability at the heart of it.
Yes, so it's about based on the sustainable goals from
the United Nations.
United Nations, yes. So our cabinet member for climate change and biodiversity has kind of pushed that forward, and it's a really lovely way of framing our corporate.
And the great thing, we've been doing lots of consultation. I don't know how consultation works in Nepal, but talking to people about what they want from the council and what they want to see happen in their district. And we're doing some lovely things with young people as well, and it's broken all records, the number of people that have taken part in the consultation, which is also important to us, that we, when we were elected, there was a feeling people didn't really feel like the council was listening to them and that was working with them. So we were very keen to change that and make it more of a conversation between the council and residents, and them to feel they've got a say in what happens.
Yes, so we had 3 schools come and spend the morning in our council chamber, and they debated a lot of what they would like in our district. So they looked at our sustainable goals and what we wanted to do, and they said, well, this is what we want, and they sort of asked us questions about how that could be achieved. It was not far off of what we'd like to see as a youth council. We're not quite there, but it was a step towards, wasn't it? So I really like the idea of getting young people engaged, because we want them to stay in the district. We don't want them to move away. No, exactly. We want them to feel that there's something here for them.
And actually that is another function of the district council, to encourage economic development as well.
Our mayor is actually, his vision is that as well. He doesn't want the people of Iran to move away from Iran. He wants to bring them and have an employment like yours and have a sustainability plan. So, and he has been he has been putting a lot of voices about how to regenerate the Iran. In terms of employment, youths. He almost works 7 days. It's unbelievable.
It's an exhausting job, isn't it? We're going into a local college in a few weeks, I think. The Folkestone College, which is really good at working with local employers, and they run apprenticeships schemes alongside their courses, and they're really keen to work with us actually, because we're one of the biggest employers as well in the district, and there's so many different areas you can work in.
Everything from maintaining the parks to being in the legal
basically you're telling our mayor need to work with the businesses.
It's really important.
And it's for our mayor it's very difficult the way the business are set up in Nepal. It's not properly regulated, and probably that's what our mayor is finding hard. So our businesses are not properly as regulated as here, or they don't have that legacy. I should not be saying such to my country, but that's the reality, and he is, I think, facing that, and he is fighting on his own way to navigate through and bring it everything together and working.
Is tourism important in Durham? 'Cause obviously it is in Kathmandu and in the Himalayas, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, our mayor probably, if you look in the YouTube, our mayor, he generated a huge park like that, through voluntary walking, and then that has generated a lot of tourism in Durham. So lots of people do go to Durham.
We're trying.
Yeah, he's been very successful. He's been very successful.
Yes, I was talking to.
But
So what kind of tourism do you have?
I think we do have but most more internal tourism has been attracting internal one. But obviously internationally Nepal is famous for trekking and so on.
Yes.
But our mayor is trying internal tourism. So yeah.
No, that's good. I was chatting to some soldiers the other day at their celebration about they'd come from your area, and they were telling me about the different regions in Nepal and how, because we always mention mountains and they're not all like that. And they were telling me about the different climates as well.
It's a small country, but lots of different ethnic groups within the country out there as well. Different languages spoken.
Yeah. So he managed to build one of the nicest, biggest park in our town, in our city.
That's good.
So when I just remember, when I just saw this, I just remembered.
And that wasn't a part of it. I mean, that was.
There used to be a road.
A road along there, wasn't there? There was nothing
There was
there.
nothing there before, no. No, it's beautiful down there. With my work in Hythe, I've had a lot of interest in parks. I think if you can give something that the community can go to for free, it kind of it's really good for the health of the community and the young people. And this is beautiful, isn't it? So,
Yeah, it is really big. Yeah. I think.
by yourself actually. So just wondering whether we open it and.
Yeah, you can open any.
I put it in some wrapping just to try and protect it. Just so that you can see some lovely pictures of Folkestone and taken by our very own wonderful photographer. So some of our seafront, and we've got some of our parks, our beautiful sandy beach, the Lees with our bandstand, and you can see a little bit of Mermaid Beach there as well. So. Hopefully you'll be able to see some of these places as you travel around.
How far is this from here?
This is just
10
minutes that way, isn't it? So I'm just pointing the wrong direction.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's okay. So
this one is our cultural symbol, kind of cultural symbol. So this one is from my side.
that's lovely.
Yeah, so okay, if you don't mind.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Can our chair, mayor, can you give this to one is to them as well
Okay.
as another
Sure.
one? To our,
Thank you.
Wow.
So.
Okay.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, chair, for giving us time.
It's been wonderful. It's been really lovely to meet you.
Yeah. Very, very nice to meet you too.
And find out more about what we've got
So I'll make sure when our mayor goes to Dharam, to his office, so he writes a letter and sends you some gift, because he wasn't prepared to come and see you all.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. It's an honour to have you here. It really is.
And please, when you visit Nepal, you still got power for another 2.5 years. You land in Kathmandu, then you go to east of Nepal to when you're in submetropolis in Dharam, and he will definitely remember you see you. Oh. I don't know what sort of power he had, but
That sounds great.
So So thank you for.
No, it's been really lovely. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you so much. Thank you.
Thomas, did you want to get a picture outside?
Yeah.
Private chamber really.
Quran.
Should we get one?
Also, like all the chairs.
These are all of our previous chairs.
So that is
That's the
this
training
one, yeah,
office,
that's
yeah.
the chain
Of the district
the
council.
district council.
Yes.
Okay.
So we do have a mayor in Folkestone as well, but so she was the town mayor. So,
Now town, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, the chair on top. On that side and the side it would be on this. Actually, take a photo.
We'll take a few, yeah, is that all right?
These are the main people. So
That's their big smiles.
Oh, Thomas, did you happen to do anything?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Right.
One more. Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, well that's lovely. Thank you for organising that. And it's really lovely.
Thank you for the gift. Thank you, Chair. Thanks.
Cái sáng nó không có sale rất là